Welcome to Life Coaching for Dance Studio Owners. Each week, we talk money, mindset, and self-care to help you live a more peaceful life and lead a more profitable business. Let's get started. Hey, studio owners. Today, I am talking about 5 mistakes that dance studio owners make that waste time and money. And I want to impart this list on you so that if you are making any of these mistakes, that you can actually make a change and do things better for your business. Now, I am guilty of making some of these mistakes myself. So I'll go into that a little bit with some of the examples, but I just want you to just take a moment. If you're multitasking right now, you might want to grab a pad and paper and jot a few things down, or save this episode, download it so that you can come back to the information, because these tips will actually save you time and money. So number one mistake is jumping on the bandwagon. You've seen it in Facebook groups, you've seen it in coaching calls, you've seen it in webinars, conferences. People just jump on bandwagons. I don't know, something about dance. We always just want to do some of the latest and greatest things that we see other people doing. And so when I see people doing this, it appears as, hey, we're all using this new curriculum that came out and you've got to, buy the subscription. It's so great. And then all these people jump on board to get it. They're all talking about it. And then over time, people are like, I'm spending all this money on this stuff and I really could have done it myself. I could have created this particular curriculum on my own, or what I had was pretty good. I didn't need this thing with this glossy marketing or, their downloads and social media posts. I don't even use them. Or I hear this a lot. My staff doesn't even implement that curriculum. And so now you've put money in, but no one's actually even using the thing. So when you think about this, think about your spending, think about your decision making, think about things like, are you making impulse buys? Are you making like FOMO purchases, like fear of missing out that all these other studios have the latest and greatest and you don't? Really take the time to avoid mistake number 1. All right. Mistake number 2 is blindly trusting experts. It could be a marketing expert. It could be a business operations expert. It could be a how to get more students, doing whatever expert, whatever it is. Do not blindly trust anyone, but especially not these so-called experts. And this is why I'm going to say this. When you blindly trust an expert, especially for business services that are kind of hands-off, so they'll take care of it all for you because they're saving you time as a busy studio owner, what can happen is you're not actually looking at what's happening. You're not catching errors until it's too late. You're investing in something, but you don't actually know your return on your investment, if that's actually working for you. And the other thing is, when you try to do things that experts are telling you to do, you have to weigh it against where you are in your business. You can't necessarily use the same programs and techniques if you are, 3 years in as somebody who's 20 years in and they've got a totally different demographic, right? Like, not everything that these experts say is going to apply to every business model, every type of studio, every location of studio. I've seen people say, oh, well, this studio's done these programs and like these mini sessions and they're like themed and they're based on Disney movies and all these things, but like, does your demographic resonate with that? Is that something they actually enjoy, want to sign up for, want to pay for? Do they really want these extras? I also see people like the experts. You have to remember, if there's an expert giving you information on running your studio and how they got to be successful, if they rose to success 25 years ago, or they built their business 25 years ago, That's very different than someone who started building their business in 2019. That's different from somebody who started their business in 2008, right? Like the technology, the methods of marketing, the software, it's so different, right? Like if I looked at my dance teacher, studio owner from when I was a kid and looked at how she grew her business and I followed her blueprint, it would not work now. Why? Because she started her business in 1981. So while she was a savvy business owner, she grew a nice sized studio, she made money, she had great staff. I can't do all the same things that she did for marketing. I can't do all the same things that she did for staff. I can't pay my staff what she paid her staff. So you have to really consider what it is these experts are telling you. And I'm going to say this, trust your gut. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. If it seems like, I don't know if that's going to work in my area, hey, you have intuition for a reason. Use it, okay? All right, I'm going on to number 3. This is something I see literally every year, year after year, for at least 10 years. It drives me mad, and I actually will go online and message studio owners about this when I see it, because it is painful watching people waste money. And this is the mistake of running Facebook and Instagram ads that are outside of your market. What do I mean by that? I mean, okay, so I'm in New Jersey. I see studio owner ads, dance studio ads in California, in Iowa, Mississippi. I should not be seeing your Facebook and Instagram ads looking to get children to book trial classes in a completely different state. I shouldn't see your ads from Canada in the United States. What are we thinking? If you just run ads and don't know what the heck you're doing, if you don't set your demographic, if you don't set your state or your region, your zip codes, whatever it is, you are wasting so much money. You know, I talked to a client today. This is actually a client where I built his website and I'm kind of advising him on marketing. And he was talking about how Facebook ads don't work and his frustrations. And so I went into his ads account and I looked at it and I said, okay, your particular business, your key demographic that you serve are homeowners. Why was your ad targeting people 18 to 24 years old? They typically are not homeowners ready to purchase your service. And I said, how many 18 to 24-year-olds do you serve? And he said 0. And I said, so why on earth is your ad targeting them? And the answer he gave was, I don't know. Somebody told him what to do, set up some things, and he didn't even know what was going on. If you have an agency running your ads, you need to look at your ads. What are they targeting? What are they doing? Are you running retargeting ads? Are you running ads to get messages? Are you getting just junk leads that don't lead to actual customers? Look at your Facebook and Instagram ads, because huge amounts of money, hundreds, thousands. I talked to a studio owner in New York who had spent $3,000 on Facebook ads and didn't get any quality leads. You need to look at this stuff, right? And so again, the basic things are, you're running an ad, most likely, people are coming to your studio roughly 10 miles or less. You are not, in most cases, pulling somebody in from across the country to attend your class for 5-year-old ballet. That's just not happening. Now, I understand if you live on the border of 2 states and you could be pulling people from both states, but that is rare, right? Like, most of us are not in that situation. And so I want you to look at your ads and stop wasting money. Moving on to number 4. This is huge. The mistake number 4 is not having a budget. You're just spending money, making money, and you don't have a plan, an estimate of where your money is coming from and where it's going. In fact, at the end of the year, you don't even know. You're hoping your accountant or bookkeeper will tell you where it went. You're a hot mess with your receipts. You're lucky if they're in a Ziploc bag, let alone taking pictures of them and uploading them and tagging them in QuickBooks, right? We have to be good stewards of the money that we have. We can't just willy-nilly just let money flow in and out of our business without really knowing what's happening. We have to look at our numbers. We have to tell our numbers in advance how much money is getting allocated to each thing, right? Start a budget by looking at what you did last year. How much did you make in revenue, tuition, costumes, shows, summer programs? And then how much did you spend on payroll and rent and all the things, right? Build a budget that takes into account any changes. You have to do this. This can waste so much money. If we don't have a budget and we don't look at our numbers, it's easy to overspend. So many of us are natural spenders, and we will overspend and have no profit. And at the end of the year, you might even have the case where it shows that you made a profit, but then you don't have any money in the bank to show for it. You don't want to be in that situation. And now lastly, this one pulls at our heartstrings. The mistake is changing everything for one person. Whether you're creating a policy because one person irritated you, or you change the time, the date of a class, of a performance, or whatever for one person or a group of people. When I was working at Girl Scouts, I remember we had a new CEO, and she would always say things like, kind of call people on the carpet, because they would say, oh, the volunteers don't like this. We should not do this. And she would say, how many? And we're like, what do you mean? She would say, how many volunteers don't like this? How many volunteers have spoken up and said they don't like this? And people would say, oh, well, 5 people. She's like, great. That was 5 people out of 12,000 volunteers. We're not changing something because this small percentage of people who are loud and vocal are saying this, right? So you don't want to manage all of the outliers, right? You don't want to manage all of the exceptions. You will drive yourself crazy. You will make hasty decisions if you are constantly managing and setting policies and dates and events based on your exceptions. You need to work with your majority, with your ideal clients, not just the loud complainers, not just the one who's your sister, friend, brother, hairdresser who had a moment to bend your ear. So I would just want to encourage you to work on one of these mistakes that you might be making. Now, if you aren't making any of these mistakes, bravo to you. You've made it to the next level. So, again, first of all, you want to avoid jumping on the bandwagon with everyone else. Second, blindly trusting experts. Got to watch out for that. Third, running your Facebook and Instagram ads outside of your market. 4, having no budget. And lastly, number 5, changing everything for one person. Making small changes can have lasting impact on your business. I wish you all the best. Hey there, it's Ginger. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please remember to share it with a friend and write a review and give a rating wherever you listen to your podcasts. It really helps our show get in front of more listeners like you. Have a great one.